In a world obsessed with $500 longevity supplements and grueling 5 a.m. optimization routines, we've overlooked the only biological factory reset that comes pre-installed in our DNA. It's free, it's contagious, and it's more powerful than a cold plunge. It's the involuntary lung convulsion we call a belly laugh, the ultimate nervous system override that science is finally starting to decode. We've been sold a lie that gravity is the primary force aging us, but it's actually the weight of our own seriousness. From the moment we trade the playground for the cubicle, we fall headlong into the sincerity trap. We've been conditioned to believe that to be professional, we must be solemn; to be a responsible adult, we must maintain a brow permanently furrowed by the stresses of mortgage rates, health insurance, and the bottomless abyss of our inboxes. But here is the biological kicker: your nervous system doesn't know the difference between a looming project deadline and a mountain lion crouched in the brush. When we operate in this perpetual state of high-stakes living, our bodies stay locked in a sympathetic loop. This is the fight-or-flight response, a prehistoric mechanism designed to save your life during a physical crisis, not to help you navigate a passive-aggressive email chain. In this mode, your heart rate remains subtly elevated, your digestion slows to a crawl, and your system is flooded with a steady, corrosive drip of cortisol. It is a biohazard of our own making. We are essentially running a high-performance engine at the red line while parked in a garage. Over time, this perma-stress doesn't just make us irritable, it begins to rust the very gears of our longevity. Adulting, as it turns out, has become a chronic inflammatory condition. We carry the world on our shoulders, convinced that if we let our guard down for even a second to indulge in the frivolous, the whole structure will collapse. We treat humor like a dessert, something to be enjoyed only after the real work is finished. But our biology tells a much more urgent story. In the relentless, grinding machinery of modern existence, humor isn't the garnish, it's the lubricant. When we lose the ability to see the absurdity in our daily chaos, we lose the primary signal our body uses to stand down. Our nervous system is constantly waiting for a sign that the danger has passed and the predator has been outrun. Without the explosive release of a genuine laugh, the body stays on high alert, slowly eroding its own defenses and shortening its own fuse. We aren't just being serious, we are being biologically rigid. And in nature, things that are too rigid eventually snap. To survive the marathon of the 21st century, we have to realize that a belly laugh isn't just a break from reality, it's the only thing that keeps reality from breaking us. It's time to stop treating funny like a luxury and start treating it like the survival gear it actually is. It usually starts with a twitch at the corner of the mouth or a sudden, sharp exhale, aha, that you didn't see coming. But when the dam finally breaks and you truly lose it, your body undergoes a physiological transformation that would make an Olympic athlete jealous. This is the guffaw, the full throttle, involuntary seizure of joy that hijacks your entire anatomy. While your mind is busy processing a punchline or a ridiculous situation, your torso is becoming a high-speed piston. The centerpiece of this chaos is your diaphragm. In a state of genuine laughter, this large, dome-shaped muscle begins to pulse with a rapid-fire intensity. It's a rhythmic, ballistic contraction that forces air out of your lungs in short, explosive bursts. This isn't just a noisy way to breathe, it's a mechanical purge. With every ha-ha, you are clearing out residual air from the deep pockets of your lungs, the stagnant stuff that sits there during your shallow office breathing, and replacing it with a massive, desperate intake of fresh oxygen. You are essentially hyper-oxygenating your blood on the fly, fueling your cells with a sudden, intoxicating surge of life. But the real magic is happening under the surface. As your diaphragm heaves and your abdominal muscles clench, your internal organs are getting a workout they never asked for. This is the internal massage, a rhythmic squeezing and releasing of the liver, stomach, and intestines. It's a biological kneading that stimulates blood flow to your core in a way that no treadmill or yoga pose can quite replicate. Your heart rate spikes, your blood pressure takes a temporary leap, and your vascular system dilates. For a few glorious, breathless seconds, your body is convinced it's sprinting for its life, yet you're likely just doubled over on a sofa. It is, quite literally, the only workout in existence where you can burn calories while simultaneously holding a plate of nachos. Your facial muscles, all 15 of them, are working in perfect, frantic harmony to pull your expression into that beautiful, distorted mask of mirth. Your tear ducts might even join the party, flushing out stress hormones as your eyes crinkle into corners. By the time the fit passes and you're left gasping, leaning against a wall for support, you aren't just emotionally lighter, you are physically altered. The guffaw has shaken the dust off your internal machinery, leaving your organs pulsing and your blood singing. You've just given your body a factory reset, and all it cost you was a moment of surrendered dignity. The physical upheaval of a belly laugh is only the opening act. The real transformation is a chemical coup occurring within the silent corridors of your bloodstream. Imagine your body as a high-pressure boiler. For most of the day, the valves are clamped shut by the twin enforcers of the modern era, cortisol and adrenaline. These are the chemicals of stay alert and don't fail, and while they are excellent for outrunning a literal predator, they are corrosive when left to simmer in your veins during a 3-hour budget meeting. They tighten your muscles, shallow your breath, and keep your brain in a state of low-grade, exhausting vigilance. Then, the punchline hits. In an instant, the brain recognizes the absurdity of the moment and sends a frantic signal to the adrenal glands to stand down. It's a biological all-clear signal. As you double over, the floodgates of your internal pharmacy swing wide. The jagged, acidic presence of cortisol is suddenly neutralized by a tidal wave of endorphins, the body's natural opiates. These molecules don't just make you feel good, they are precision-engineered to bind to the same receptors as pain, effectively numbing the physical and emotional aches of the day. It's a neurochemical pressure release valve that vents the accumulated steam of a 40-hour work week in 40 seconds of pure, unadulterated mirth. But the cocktail doesn't stop at pain relief. Following closely behind the endorphin rush is a surge of dopamine, the reward chemical that makes the world seem vibrant again. This isn't the cheap, flickering dopamine hit you get from a social media notification. This is a deep, resonant hum that recalibrates your mood. The brain, previously locked in a loop of what could go wrong, is suddenly flooded with the sensation of everything is right. This is the laughter reset in its purest form. You are effectively flushing the system, draining the toxic sludge of stress and replacing it with a sparkling, high-performance fuel. As the laughter subsides and the chemical storm begins to settle, you are left in a state of mirthful relaxation. The adrenaline has evaporated, the cortisol levels have plummeted, and your brain is basking in a warm, dopaminergic glow. You haven't just changed your mood, you've changed your internal environment. You have traded a state of survival for a state of thrive, proving that the most potent medicine in your cabinet isn't a pill, it's the punchline that caught you off guard. While the chemical flush of dopamine and endorphins feels like a spa day for the brain, there is a physical wire running through your torso that is doing the heavy lifting behind the scenes. This is the vagus nerve, the great wandering superhighway of your parasympathetic nervous system. If your fight-or-flight response is the gas pedal that keeps you revved up and anxious, the vagus nerve is the industrial strength brake. It's the primary channel through which your body communicates a state of safety to your internal organs, and yet, most of us have let this vital connection grow weak and out of tune. The secret hack lies in the geography of the nerve itself. The vagus nerve passes directly through the vocal cords and is intricately woven into the diaphragm. When you launch into a full-bodied, rhythmic laugh, you aren't just making noise, you are physically strumming that nerve like a bass guitar. The staccato vibrations of a ha-ha-ha in the throat, combined with the percussive pulses of the diaphragm, act as a high-intensity workout for the nerve. This is what scientists call vagal toning. Just as you might lift weights to tone a bicep, you use the mechanics of laughter to tone your nervous system's ability to recover from stress. The moment this nerve is stimulated by the vibration of a guffaw, it sends an immediate, high-priority telegram to your heart and lungs. It's the biological equivalent of an all-clear siren. It commands the heart rate to drop and the lungs to expand, overriding the frantic signals sent by your stressed-out brain. It effectively informs your primitive lizard brain that the predator, which in the modern world usually looks like an overflowing inbox or a passive-aggressive Slack message, has finally left the cave. You cannot simply think yourself into a state of deep relaxation when your body is convinced it's under attack, but you can laugh yourself there. By hitting the right physical frequency, you are hacking the hardware of your nervous system to force a state of calm. Laughter is the manual override for a body that has forgotten how to be still. It's the bridge between the chaos of the outside world and the peace of your internal biology, proving that the most sophisticated longevity tool we possess isn't a wearable device, it's the vibrating cord in our own chests. If your nervous system is the electricity powering the house, your immune system is the specialized security team patrolling the perimeter. Usually, we think of this team as a grim, tireless force of microscopic soldiers, but the science suggests they actually perform best when they're having a good time. It sounds like a reach, the idea that a 30-minute sitcom could be as effective as a vitamin C megadose, until you look at the cellular response to a genuine, side-splitting laugh. When we trade a state of perma-stress for a state of mirthful laughter, we aren't just changing our mood, we are essentially giving our white blood cells a pep talk. At the center of this biological defense budget are the natural killer, NK, the cells. These are the elite special forces of your immune system, specifically designed to seek out and destroy virally infected cells and even certain types of tumor cells. In a body weighed down by the Sincerity Trap, these cells can become sluggish, their activity dampened by the constant drizzle of cortisol. But the moment you lose yourself in a fit of laughter, something extraordinary happens, your NK cell activity spikes. It's as if the internal massage of the guffaw shakes them awake, increasing their count and their predatory efficiency. You are, quite literally, laughing your way into a more aggressive defense against the common cold. Beyond the special forces, laughter also boosts the production of antibodies, specifically immunoglobulin A, the first line of defense in your respiratory tract. By laughing, you are reinforcing the physical barriers of your body, coating your throat and lungs in a protective layer of mirthful protein that makes it much harder for a stray virus to gain a foothold. This isn't just a temporary high, it's a systemic reinforcement. We are building an immune system that is not just biologically strong, but functionally joyful. When we view health through the narrow lens of restriction and discipline, we forget that the body is a holistic engine. It thrives on signals of safety and community. A robust immune system isn't just the result of what you eat or how much you sleep, it is the result of how often you signal to your cells that life is worth defending. By prioritizing the frivolous joy of a shared joke or a ridiculous comedy, you are providing the very fuel your security team needs to stay vigilant. In the economy of longevity, a good laugh isn't just a distraction, it's a preemptive strike against the invisible threats of the world. If you've ever staggered out of a comedy club feeling like you just finished a 5K, you aren't imagining the exhaustion. While we typically associate cardiovascular health with the rhythmic thud of sneakers on pavement or the sterile hum of a stationary bike, your heart doesn't actually care how you get its rate up, it only cares that you do. This is why laughter is often called internal jogging or aerobics' lazy cousin. It is the only form of high-intensity interval training that you can perform while wearing pajamas and holding a beverage. When a fit of laughter takes hold, your heart rate and blood pressure take a sudden, spirited leap. Your body is essentially mimicking the beginning of a brisk walk. Your chest expands, your pulse quickens, and your blood begins to pump with a renewed, forceful velocity. But the real hack for your longevity lies in what happens to the pipes themselves. As you laugh, the lining of your blood vessels, the endothelium, undergoes a profound transformation. The physical act of mirth causes these vessels to dilate and expand, significantly increasing blood flow throughout your entire system. It's a chemical and mechanical opening up that reduces arterial stiffness and improves vascular function. In a world where we spend hours hunched over desks, our circulation often becomes as stagnant as our posture. We develop flophis blood, slow, thick, and pooled in our lower extremities. A genuine guffaw acts like a biological plunger, clearing the metaphorical clogs and forcing oxygenated blood into the far reaches of your anatomy. This isn't just a temporary spike, the vascular benefits of a good laugh can linger for nearly 45 minutes after the joke has landed. You are essentially giving your heart a rest and recharge cycle by first stressing it in a healthy, joyous way, and then allowing it to settle into a deeper state of relaxation than it knew before the first ha. We spend billions on gym memberships and wearable trackers to ensure our hearts are performing at peak capacity, yet we overlook the most efficient cardio workout available. You don't need spandex, you don't need a heart rate monitor, and you certainly don't need to leave your house. By simply leaning into the absurdity of life, you are conditioning your heart to be resilient, flexible, and strong. Laughter is the ultimate cardiovascular cheat code, a way to protect your heart by filling it up until it nearly bursts. While the internal gymnastics of a guffaw do wonders for your arteries and your immune system, the most profound longevity hack of laughter isn't something that happens in isolation. Think about the last time you truly lost it, doubled over, gasping for air, tears streaming down your face. Odds are, you weren't alone. Humans are 30 times more likely to laugh in a group than they are when they're by themselves. This isn't an accident of social etiquette, it is an evolutionary masterstroke. We have developed laughter as the ultimate social glue, a biological signal that acts as a bridge between two isolated nervous systems. According to the social buffer hypothesis, laughter evolved long before complex language as a way for the tribe to say, "The predator is gone, we are safe, and we are together." It is a sonic handshake that instantly lowers the defensive walls of everyone within earshot. In the modern world, where we are more connected than ever through screens yet more isolated in our daily lives, this ancient signal has become a literal lifesaver. We know now that chronic loneliness is as biologically damaging as smoking 15 cigarettes a day, causing a slow-motion collapse of the body's repair systems. Laughter is the antidote to this modern plague. When you share a laugh with another person, your brain waves actually begin to synchronize. You are entering a state of collective flow where the stresses of the individual ego melt away into the safety of the group. This is the secret ingredient found in the world's blue zones, those geographic pockets where people regularly live past 100. These centenarians aren't just eating kale and walking up hills, they are deeply embedded in social fabrics where humor is the daily currency. They aren't just coexisting, they are laughing together. This shared mirth creates a feedback loop of longevity. The more you laugh with your tribe, the more your body feels it is in a safe, supportive environment. This feeling of safety is the ultimate stand-down order for your stress response, allowing your body to shift its energy from constant vigilance to deep, cellular repair. By finding that funny in a shared moment, you are doing more than just being polite, you are weaving a safety net of connection that catches you when life gets heavy. You are building a community-based fortress of health, proving that the best way to add years to your life is to find the people who make you forget how old you are. If you walk past a preschool playground, you aren't just hearing noise, you're hearing a symphony of biological resilience. Children are the gold standard of the human nervous system, laughing roughly 300 times a day. For them, mirth is the default setting, a constant, bubbling reaction to the simple absurdity of being alive. But somewhere between the high school graduation and the first performance review, the music stops. By the time we reach mid-adulthood, that number plummets to a staggering average of just 15 times a day. We haven't just lost our sense of humor, we have developed a profound joy deficit. This decline isn't a natural byproduct of aging, it's a symptom of what we might call the gravity of adulthood. We live in a world designed to be solemn. Our modern environments, from the stark, fluorescent lighting of open-plan offices to the grim, urgent cadence of the 24-hour news cycle, are meticulously engineered to suppress the very impulse that keeps us young. We have been taught that to be taken seriously is the ultimate social currency. We wear our stress like a badge of honor, convinced that a furrowed brow is a sign of competence, while a spontaneous burst of laughter is a sign of distraction or, worse, a lack of focus. We have traded our 300 daily factory resets for a state of perpetual, somber vigilance. This isn't just a cultural shift, it is a biological tragedy. When we stop laughing, we lose the most effective tool we have for breaking that permastress loop discussed in earlier chapters. We allow the gravity of adulthood to pull us down into a state of physiological rigidity. Our modern life demands that we stay on at all times, constantly monitoring, constantly optimizing, and constantly worrying. In this high-pressure environment, that unserious becomes the unproductive, and we begin to treat our joy like an indulgence we haven't quite earned yet. This joy deficit acts like a slow-moving tax on our longevity. By suppressing our natural impulse to find the funny, we are essentially leaving our nervous systems in a state of high alert with no exit strategy. We are aging faster because we have forgotten how to play. We have been conditioned to believe that life is a serious business to be managed, rather than a ridiculous, beautiful accident to be enjoyed. Reclaiming those lost 285 laughs a day isn't about being childish, it's about refusing to let the weight of the world crush the very mechanism that allows us to carry it. If we are going to close the joy deficit and reclaim our biological birthright, we have to stop waiting for life to be funny and start training our funny bone with the same intentionality we bring to a squat rack. This isn't about becoming a stand-up comedian or developing a razor-sharp wit, it's about implementing laughter protocols. It's a shift from being a passive consumer of humor to being an active practitioner of mirth. The first and most vital tool in this kit is reframing. When the universe hands you a minor catastrophe, like a bird choosing your shoulder for target practice or the printer jamming during a deadline, you have a split second to choose your nervous system's path. You can succumb to the sincerity trap and let the cortisol spike, or you can lean into the sheer, slapstick absurdity of being a human being in a chaotic world. For the days when the world feels too heavy to find the punchline, we have the fake it till you make it hack, laughter yoga. It sounds inherently ridiculous, standing in a circle, clapping, and chanting rhythmic ho-ho-ha-ha sounds, and that is exactly the point. Your diaphragm and your vagus nerve are remarkably indifferent to the quality of the joke. They respond to the mechanical rhythm of the exhale. By physically simulating laughter, you trigger the same chemical all-clear signal we've discussed. Almost inevitably, the sheer awkwardness of forcing a laugh leads to a genuine, contagious explosion of mirth. You are essentially jump-starting a stalled engine. We also need to lower the bar for what we considered funny. We've become humor snobs, waiting for the high-budget special or the perfect meme. Instead, we should cultivate low-stakes humor, the ability to find a quiet, internal chuckle in the mundane. It's the dad joke, the weirdly shaped vegetable, or the way your dog looks at you when he's confused. These small, frequent hits of mirth act as micro-adjustments for your nervous system, preventing that perma-stress from ever fully taking hold. Finally, we must address our digital environment. If your evening ritual involves doom-scrolling through the world's various apocalypses, you are feeding your nervous system a steady diet of threat signals. To counter this, you must curate a digital joy feed. This is a deliberate selection of content designed specifically to trigger that internal jogging response. Whether it's fails, animals doing ridiculous things, or dry British sitcoms, your feed should be a tool for restoration, not a source of agitation. By treating laughter as a daily practice rather than a lucky accident, you aren't just improving your mood, you are building a resilient, high-vibrational body that is literally too joyful to age. In the end, longevity is less about the pursuit of a perfect, sterile immortality and more about the art of radical surrender. We have spent this journey dissecting the mechanics of the guffaw, the electrical strumming of the vagus nerve, and the cellular celebration of the immune system, but the science leads us to a singular, philosophical truth: the most resilient version of you is the one that knows how to let go. This is the new blueprint for aging. It is a shift from the rigid biohacking mindset, where every calorie is tracked and every minute optimized, to a fluid, joyful state of being where this internal massage of laughter is the primary metric of health. When we stop treating our bodies like machines that need to be fixed and start treating them like instruments that need to be played, the entire landscape of our health changes. We realize that the sincerity trap was never a requirement of adulthood, but a cultural misunderstanding. By integrating laughter protocols into our daily lives, we aren't just adding years to our timeline, we are ensuring that those years are vibrant, connected, and physiologically elastic. We are building a body that can handle that perma-stress of the world not by hardening itself, but by vibrating at a frequency that cortisol simply cannot touch. To live a long life is a biological feat, but to live a long life while remaining light on your feet is a masterpiece. The manifesto for this new longevity is simple: seek out the absurd, embrace the low-stakes humor of the mundane, and never trust a day that hasn't involved at least one moment of breathless, undignified mirth. We are, after all, a strange species of bipedal primates living on a rock hurtling through an infinite void, worrying about things like credit scores and unread emails. If you can't find the humor in that, you aren't paying attention. The ultimate longevity hack is the realization that we are all temporary. There is a profound, liberating peace in the knowledge that you'll never get out of this life alive anyway. So, why spend your finite days in a state of solemn, high-alert vigilance? By surrendering to the last laugh, you choose a path of vitality that transcends the physical. You become a person who doesn't just survive the years, but dances through them, leaving a trail of dopamine and connection in your wake. The clock is ticking for all of us, but as long as you can still find the punchline, you have successfully hacked the system.